guys, welcome back to the channel. Okay, so ladies and gents, what we're going to be doing is we've just done a repair on a Volkswagen Touran. This is a 2018 model. So what we've got is we're going to be doing the front bumper and bonnet, and we're also blending the wings. So in this video you'll see what I do in terms of blending wings, because when you know the colour's not exactly perfect, this is a little bit of a trick that may just get you out of trouble, rather than kind of painting the bonnet and wings all at the same time, because you get your overspray. So you don't want your overspray going kind of where you don't want any base coat going. So this was a trick I learned years ago off of a different painter, to be honest. It was just one of them questions I just had to ask. I was like, dude, how do you do it? Because yeah, when I'm doing it I'm struggling, because sometimes the doors are not matching up with the wings after, because there's been too much overspray and the colour's going too far. So yeah, this is a little trick I learned off of another painter, which is always handy. And you know, it's nice that people are out there sharing their tips and things like that. So yeah, this repair, this job, in all honesty, should have had a new bonnet, new bumper. Should have had, it's having a few new parts as well. So the bumper itself has actually got a crack in the top section, and yeah, it wasn't the easiest of repairs really, but it's one of those that I normally wouldn't really repair, and it's not something that I'd say to a customer, yep, we can repair that. I'd normally always say it needs a new bumper, but this is for a close friend of the boss's, so we're trying to just save him some money in terms of having to buy parts and things. Obviously this isn't going to be cheap for a new bumper and a new bonnet and the other bits that we're having to replace anyway. So yeah, we've repaired it, and it looks really good actually. I'm really happy with the outcome, and yeah, I think you'll be really happy with the final results. So as you can see, there's some grey primer over my white primer on this job. Now it's not actually a huge issue because we're spraying a solid white, so this has got no metallic or nothing like that in. So solid white, the colour code is C9A, so C9A, and it's a pure white. So these colours, the solid colours, normally cover up really well, so the grey primer thing wasn't an issue for me. I wasn't worried about it at all, but let me talk you the reasons for it. So when priming this, as we're just getting back in the shop and trying to get things back up and running after coming back, we're walking into a few issues from where I've needed to order stuff before I left ideally. So I'm walking back and walking back into a bit of a mess, if I'm being honest. The bins haven't been emptied, which the binmen haven't been to empty the bins, so the place has got bin bags and rubbish everywhere. We've got me trying to order stuff, and yeah, just trying to get back on top of things. So it's slowly getting there. We're progressing. You know, it's always trying to build and make things better, but at the moment it's been a bit slow, so we're just trying to get back on track with everything. So basically the repairs, I usually put 3 coats of primer on, and unfortunately when mixing the primer I didn't quite mix enough. I thought I had enough, but I didn't, and then I had to mix up a little bit more, which was kind of pretty much the final coat, the 3rd coat that I put on. So had a little bit of white. So what we normally have is white and black. So I had a little bit of white left, and obviously it had black in. So that's how I ended up getting the slight grey. So yeah, we don't normally buy a grey, black and a white. We normally just buy a black and a white, and then we'll just mix the shade as we feel fit to on certain colours. So obviously if you are spraying white, ideally a white primer or even a very light grey would be ideal. Not that it really matters. I mean, we have plenty of paint for this, so it wasn't like we were going to run out of paint. So yeah, I mean, as you can see through the video, the base coat is covering up really well, really quickly. So using a grey primer, I knew it wouldn't be an issue, and I'm glad it wasn't. So we're just obviously basing up still. Pretty much run out of paint, I believe, here. So a little bit of a top up. I never want to get kind of halfway through a bonnet. I always want to make sure I've got enough paint to do the whole bonnet. There's always there was a slight amount of paint in the gun, and it was just one of those, do I chance it, do I not? And for me, I personally don't like having to refill my base, even my lacquer, going through a bonnet. So I'd rather just quickly top it up just to make sure I've got enough to get like the whole bonnet sprayed. So the main reasons for it is, as the base coat starts drying and then you go mix out kind of some more colour, you come back and you go to spray again, it basically kind of just leaves like a dry edge, and with that dry edge it won't really cause a problem in all honesty, but with this particular colour it wouldn't cause a problem. But if you're spraying like a metallic or kind of some of the light greys and light blues, something like that, even kind of a yellow or anything like that, you will possibly see it, and you will possibly see a very slight difference because you're in the flow of it kind of going across the bonnet. So you're keeping your distance, your pressure, everything's kind of kept the same. You're in a bit of a routine going across the bonnet. As soon as you go out and fill up your base coat and then come back in to rebase, you might even go in a little bit too close that first time, or you might even come out a little bit too much. So very slight variation can actually make a difference in the colour appearance. So not always, and certain colours will do it, certain colours won't, but in general good practice is to always just make sure you've got enough base and clear to just go across the bonnet, because the bonnet on a car is it's the first thing you see, you know, so it needs to look good and it needs to look right. So there's no point in just kind of chancing it. I know I had enough paint outside mixed, so you know, for the extra 30 seconds it took to quickly mix that before I started going across the bonnet, it just makes complete sense to do so. I guess we've all got different ways and different things that we can do, and every painter will have a different possible way of doing something, but at the end of the day the main thing is that we all get the same results in terms of a good quality job and nice repair. That's all that we're after. So if that's what the outcome is, really, as long as the process is kind of, the paint's going to stick and it's going to be a lasting job, then what's the problem? So I've had it before, you know, other painters go, oh, you can't do it that way, or you shouldn't do it that way, and unless there's a valid reason, or it kind of makes sense to not do something like that, then I don't see a problem in doing certain things, as long as it works. That's the main thing. I mean, lucky for me, I've been painting quite a while now, a good few years, so I've had plenty of practice on families, cars, things like that, so everything that I do now is pretty much tried and tested, and it's stood the test of time. So I'm more than happy to do what I do because I know it works, and I won't ever be afraid to try something new, you know, that's just how it is. So this is the magic trick really, guys, in me blending my base coat. into the wings rather than coating up the bonnet and the wings at the same time. I just mask them off, make sure my main colour is all on the bonnet and the bonnet is covered, and then what I'll do is just unmask the wings, try and keep as minimal tape as possible on the wings, and try and use less tacky tape. As you can see, I'm just feeling the panel now. What you can actually get is sometimes you'll get a glue residue from the tape, and if so, then just give it a quick panel wipe and obviously attack, and you'll be good to spray. So you can actually see the colour difference there in the picture. So that's the difference between this colour, which is why blending the wings was important. The car's not actually finished yet, so what I'll do is I'll try and get some photos of the end result of it outside, and you'll see kind of everything together. And yeah, you know, the wings look great. The doors kind of match the wings, and the wings match the bonnet, which is what we want. So yeah, that's my little trick, and it gets me out of trouble quite often. So it's a good one for anyone that's either new in the trade or anything like that. If you kind of are having troubles that I had, where I was just getting too much paint down by it was normally to the top of the doors, then and they always looked off, then certainly just use a bit of tape, a little bit of masking, spend that extra 5 minutes and just mask them up before you base your bonnet up. And that's really my top tip, especially doing a job like this. I mean, we always recommend blending wings on any job. Whether we're doing stone chips on a bonnet or there's a dent in a bonnet, we always recommend blending the wings, because it's the front of the car. There's nothing worse than the front of the car looking a bit off. So great, yeah. So the colour was good. We checked it with a light just to make sure that everything was covered. Sometimes you can still see either the grey or the other colour base coat, not colour base coat, the coloured primer underneath. So you just want to check it with a light and make sure you're fully covered, which we were. Didn't actually get part of the video of me doing that, but I can assure you I do it on every job. You know, when you just get used to doing something, it's part of the process, it's just a routine. So I'm pretty sure I actually turned the lights off while checking this, just to be on the safe side. So checking the lights, checking the paint with the lights off, it just helps you see. So it helps you kind of really gauge that. Is it going to look okay? Do I need to put more base coat on? And with the lights off, you're really depending on the inspection light that you have. So it's important to have a good one or a half decent one that's quite bright really. And yeah, I mean, we have to turn our fans off, and we have to basically shut down the booth or the oven before we can turn the lights off. So it doesn't take long, you know, a couple of minutes if that. So for the time taken just to be that a bit extra cautious, it's always worth taking, you know. There's no harm in doing it whatsoever. There's no reason not to. And it will certainly help you. I mean, for me, I always used to do it with yellows. In all honesty, I hate painting yellow. But yellow is one of them colours where it will look absolutely covered. And if you go in with the light while the lights are on in the booth, normally it actually looks okay. But if you turn the lights off in the booth and double check, then sometimes you might just think twice about maybe adding a bit more base coat. So that's another thing that I do that may be worth getting into the habit of doing. And it's only really certain colours, or if there's a certain reason I feel that I need to do that. And again, you know, just using your experience really. I've had things go wrong in the past, and you learn from it, you know. So we're just applying the lacquer now. on these panels. As you can see, the orange spray gun is my SATA 3000 limited edition gun, which I haven't had long. I absolutely love this gun, to be honest. It lays down the clear really nice. It's not bad for an old gun. So this gun is probably in 2020, it's possibly 10-year-old gun, maybe. Could well be. Wouldn't surprise me. I'd have to double check that if I'm being honest, but yeah, it's got to be about a 10-year-old gun. But you know, smashing out some results with it. It's not always about the gun. Sometimes the products do help. Obviously, being able to paint is a good step. But as you can see, it's just free flowing. You know, you just relax. I remember when I first painted, I was very robotic in terms of kind of moving along, stopping, moving along, stopping. So yeah, you just want to keep it flowing. So yeah, just run out of clear just as you got to the bottom of that wing. So just had to put someone there. The tack test, if anybody knows what the tack test, that was me just checking on that bit of, there's a bit of tape there. So with a tack test, it's basically just making sure that the lacquer is dry enough, and what you'll do is it will kind of just grip your finger very slightly so that you'll know that it's going tacky and it's ready to, you can put the next coat on basically. You'll be safe to do so. The lacquer's not dripping wet. You don't want to be applying more lacquer if the lacquer is dripping wet, because you'll just walk into runs. And obviously where you're applying too much material where it's still wet. So the tack test is a bit old school, but you know, it works. You can always have a set time in what you do. You could say, well, I need at least 5 minutes before I can apply a next coat of lacquer. No problems with that at all, especially if you're in a heated booth. I mean, I was in a heated booth for must be 7 years on the trot, and I've got to say, the last probably 3 or 4 years, I don't think I had one run. Very little issues, problems, because you get used to what you're doing in a booth. In a booth, you've got the same heat, it's very same. So you're quite lucky really, but they are the perfect conditions. Obviously when it's hot outside, it does get a bit warmer in the booth. So same as me in this video today, it was really hot. So I didn't even have any of the infrared lamps on that we normally have on. So we had the lamps on normally just to kind of heat that area up. It doesn't necessarily need to be on the car, because heating the area, it actually works. So we didn't need to do that because it was just too warm. So even applying the base coat, we mix a thinner with our base coat. So we normally use a fast thinner, and on a day like today you either want a medium or a slow. If you're using like a metallic colour or anything like that, you definitely want a medium thinner or a slow thinner. It just helps the colours kind of lay down a bit nicer. But yeah, I mean, the solid white, in all honesty, is one of the hardest colours I find to paint. And you'll see a lot of the video are kind of looking towards the side, which is probably why I don't quite catch the gun all the time. And it's because you're really relying on the lights and the lighting in the booth or the workshop to be able to see where the overlaps are. So you want to kind of overlap your coating kind of at least 50% each time. I mean, I try and do kind of a 60 to 70% overlap, but it's hard to see, especially on white. Any other colour you probably can see it just like by standing up and normal looking at it, but with white you you need to pay a bit more attention really, because you can get yourself into a lot of trouble. White isn't as easy as it probably looks or makes out to be. I hear a lot of people say, oh, black is the worst colour to paint or to lacquer, and I look at people and I'm just like, what? For me, black is the easiest of colours to spray, even lay down the base coat or even lacquer. Black is, you can see so much, so it really does help. But with white, it's definitely a bit of a struggle, and you rely on your lighting a lot. This is the end result. So this is the off the gun finish that we've just done. This lacquer kind of flows out. If you leave it 5-10 minutes, it just flows out that little bit more. Now that the roof's turned off as well, you can really hear the music. You have to get enough lower things right for the music. So that came out absolutely gorgeous. So really happy with that one, guys. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed that video, and I'll catch you on the next one. Okay guys, so that's the touran all painted. So we ended up doing 3 coats of base coat, and then pulling off the wings and just giving them a coat of paint as well. So as you can see, all done, looking good. We've got the bumper done. So yeah, you know, yeah, looks good. So that can all be done, bolted up. So yeah, got a nice fine texture on that bump, on that bonnet as well. So it's nice that it's all gonna, the orange peel kind of look, is all gonna look pretty bang on that. So the repair on the front end looks absolutely spot on as well. So this whole front end was a bit crushed in. So that is real nice and straight. Couple of little dirt nibs in there that I can see, but there's nothing in there that worries me whatsoever, which is good. Obviously we can just block them down and we can polish them, so that's not a problem. But yeah, that repair probably looks good. When you block a repair in primer, it really makes a difference. So yeah, I'm real happy with that repair. This customer's going to be over the moon because we've repaired his bumper. We've actually saved him a bumper as well. Not the prettiest behind here, if I'm being honest, but we basically kind of melted like a mesh into the bumper. We had to cut out this structure here, melted the mesh in, and then we've loaded it up with a glue, which is a flexible kind of repair glue. And then we've done the same on the front. So the crack was literally right across here. So considering the extent of the damage, yeah, we saved him a bumper. We've also saved him a headlight. So the headlight was just shy of 500 quid, and the bumper no doubt will probably be 300-400 quid. So we've just saved this guy kind of in the region of 900 quid on parts. The bonnet, in all honesty, I would have replaced if I had the option. Obviously, if this was an insurance repair, we would have had new bonnet, new bumper, just new parts. So this insurance would have been, I don't know, in the region of £3,000-4,000, if not slightly more. But yeah, overall, that's the touring done. So what we'll do is we'll give it a polish tomorrow. We've got to change some hinges and just change a couple of little bits on it, and then it'll be ready. The bonnet's not quite lining up at the moment, so we just painted it just to kind of get ahead of ourselves. We've literally just got to paint the bonnet hinges, and then we can change the bonnet hinges. We're also changing some wing, they're like support brackets inside the wings where they're bent out, which is creating the gap. There's a gap here, so I don't know if you guys, there's a gap here, so there's a couple of brackets just inside that wing that are bent out. So with new ones that should pull the wing back in, and the this top hinge is slightly bent as well, so all of that should make all this line up a lot better. But yeah, other than that, save the customers some money, give him some nice work. Yeah, nice, very nice. Catch you later. On to the next one, guys.